Hey Raw Travelers, here's another video I hope you'll enjoy. This one is a really important video because it's actually happened to me several times in the past few months. What happened to me? Well, I'll tell you what happened to me. I showed up at the airport and I had a totally valid ticket to go from the airport that I was in to another airport, another international airport. For example, back in June, I was in Los Angeles LAX International Airport, and I had in my hands, well, not actually in my hands, but I had, in my hands, I had a boarding pass for a flight on Japan Airlines, which I booked through my American Airlines Advantage account. It was a one-way ticket from Los Angeles Airport to Bangkok Airport, Suvarnabhumi Airport in Bangkok. And I thought I was all set, ready to go on my flight, and I get to the counter at the Japan Airlines counter in the international terminal, the Tom Bradley terminal in the LAX airport. The counter where they were checking people in for that flight. And I got to the agent and she asked me for my passport. I gave her my passport, and then she immediately asked me for a ticket to show that I was going onward from Thailand to another country sometime after that flight. And this is actually the first time that's ever happened to me. I've flown to Thailand from LAX and from other parts of the world probably over 50 times, maybe not quite 50, but 40 something times. And I have never been asked to have an onward ticket except this particular time with Japan Airlines. But luckily, I just happened to have had one with another airlines. That was booked online. I didn't have the boarding pass or anything in my possession, but luckily the agent let me use their computer, and I searched for it, and I found my reservation. She allowed me to print it out. I printed it out. She looked at it, and they let me on board the flight. So that one fixed. That one ended in a good way. But then it happened just recently again. I was in the airport in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and I was boarding a flight to Manila in the Philippines. And I got to the Thai Airways counter. I had a boarding pass in my hand, a passport in my hand, ready to get on the flight. And they asked me, "Do you have a ticket to go somewhere else outside of the Philippines?" And I said, "No, I do not." So they said, "Well then, unfortunately you can't go on this flight." And I said, "Well, that's nice to tell me here right a few minutes before my flight is supposed to be boarding. Why didn't you tell me when I booked this flight?" And he said, "Well, that's the policy, da 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 da." And so I said, "So how do I get out of this? How do I do something about it?" He says, "Well, you can book a flight out of the Philippines online, or you can go to one of the airline counters over here and purchase a ticket from one of them." So I said, "Really?" I said, "Is there actually a Wi-Fi available in this airport?" And he said, "Yes, there is." So I took my computer and I sat down and I got on the Wi-Fi and I went on to my trustyunited.com travel site, which you see right here. And I clicked on one way, Manila, MNL is the call letters for Manila, code letters, to LAX, which is the code letters for Los Angeles. And I just clicked on a date that's about 3 weeks ahead, so I don't have to worry about the close-in fee. And then I clicked on search for award travel, and I searched like so. And this is something that you need to use United to do, and you can't use American. I'm not sure about Delta. I'll have to do some research on that. I'm not sure about it. But for American, you cannot do this. But you can, at least at the time of recording this, do it with United. So make sure you do it with United. So here's what the results were. I found a flight from Manila to Los Angeles on the 26th of September, and it was on EVA Airlines for 40,000 miles and $28.26. So I just clicked on that. Of course, it makes me log in. I'm not going to do that right now, but if I would log in and clicked a few buttons and got to the point where they're asking for a credit card and I type in my credit card information, I would have then booked the ticket. And I would get an email. In fact, I got 2 emails confirming my reservation, confirming my booking on that flight. So I did that, and I took the laptop up to the agent, and I showed her the confirmation. I showed her the email confirming that I had bought a ticket departing Philippines and going to another country, and that was good enough. She was happy with that, and she gave me the boarding passes to get on my flight to the Philippines. So if ever you find yourself in a predicament where some overzealous agent who's just jealous that you get to travel around the world and they don't, well, they could, but they probably don't because they have a family, they don't make that much money, they don't have that much vacation time and whatever. They don't really have to stop you from getting on the flight, because I actually flew into the Philippines and the actual immigration agent did not even ask if I had an Onward ticket. He couldn't care less. So it wasn't because the Philippines cares about it. It was only that particular agent for Thai Airways at the desk in Phnom Penh that cared about it. And so if you have an issue with one of these overzealous agents and you're having an issue, you're getting a lot of flack from them and they're trying to force you to have an Onward ticket, well, it's a pretty simple solution. Just go on to United. If you have the miles, make sure you book a flight that's 3 weeks ahead, leaving from the country that you're heading to, and preferably arriving in the country that you have a passport for. And then just pay for it with your credit card, or your miles and your credit card. And if you don't have enough miles, just pay for it with your credit card. And you'll get an email. You'll get an email that confirms that you booked that flight. Show them that email, whether you print it out or just show it to them on your computer or on your phone. That should do it. That should do the trick. That should let you on the flight. And then immediately after you did that, log back into your United account. And as long as it's less than 24 hours before, 24 hours, less than 24 hours after you've booked that flight, you can just go right back into your account, click on Manage Flights, find that flight, and then just click on the button that should be there that says Cancel Flight. And you might need to go through a few more buttons than that, make sure that you've confirmed that it was canceled. But all you got to do is make sure the flight has been canceled, and then you are on your way. You don't have to worry about having to have some Onward ticket, which is just something that's made up by the agent, because I flew into the Philippines. I went through the immigration. They never asked me for an Onward ticket. They don't really care. I have 30 days to stay here in the Philippines without having to worry about traveling out of the country until the 30 days. And I could probably even extend it beyond 30 days. So that's my suggestion. Hopefully we'll see you soon on another flight.